Hi everybody, I'm Dr. John Douillard, and today I want to talk about an article I wrote connecting yoga, breathing, and meditation to the koshas, the 5 kind of energetic sheaths that surround us. And Ayurveda kind of was really defined by these 5 sheaths. There's the anandamaya kosha, which is our bliss sheath. That's sort of like who we truly are. And the whole goal of Ayurveda is to let that, who you are, out. The Ayurveda of you, Ayur is life, Veda is truth. It means the truth of your life and letting that out. But that anandamaya kosha, that bliss sheath, is really delicate. And it's protected by another sheath called the wisdom sheath, or the vijnanamaya kosha, which means the discernment sheath. Sort of like the petals of the flower, open and close and let only certain things in and only let the bliss out, the rays of the sun out, when it's safe to do so. Then as we go kind of more into the grosser part of us, we go into the monomaya kosha, the mind, which is all the emotions and all the senses, and I need stimulation, I need money, I need power, I need fame, I need all these things to be satisfied. I need everything from the outside world to be satisfied, as opposed to the bliss sheath is like, that is the satisfaction. But this is the trick. The game of life is to realize that the whole goal is for us to realize that the Ayurveda of us, the truth of us, is actually inside of us. And all we need to do is kind of turn our attention within, as opposed to being so distracted by what we can get from the outside, sensory world of stimulation, right? Which is kind of interesting. Now, interesting is, but there's another sheath between the mind sheath and the bliss sheaths, the vijnanamaya kosha and the anandamaya kosha, called the great barrier sheath. This is the great blocker, the sheath that walls us off from who we truly are. And this is what Ayurveda talks about, is actually becoming more aware of the blocks that take place at that level, so we can let the truth of us out, right? So we have the bliss sheath, we have this protective wisdom sheath, and we have this great barrier wall, and then the mind, and then the pranamaya kosha, and the body, the anandamaya kosha. Those are the 5 sheaths, right? So how does it all work Ayurvedically with yoga, breathing, and meditation? Well, yoga works on the body, which is the anandamaya kosha. It's the only sheath that's not energetic. It's the most outermost sheath, right? And you work on your body because you get physical exercise and circulation, and all that happens in the body. But the yoga also works on the pranamaya kosha, because as you do yoga, you're also moving prana into the body. And as you kind of move the prana, you start pushing the prana against the density of the body, and you start pushing it into the nadi system. And that really takes place in the pranamaya kosha. So we have the anamaya kosha, the physical body's got to get less dense to actually be able to experience prana and life force, right? Underneath that is the pranamaya kosha, which is the actual life, the prana, the breath sheath. And that prana is driving into the density of the physical body and activating the nadi system, which is the very subtle energy system. So that kind of vibration that you feel when you're doing yoga is actually the prana banging away into the subtle energy and activating the nadi system. And the reason that the pranamaya kosha is in between the physical body and the monomaya kosha, the mind, because it is the connector. Your breath is the connector between the mind and body. The pranamaya kosha sits between the anamaya kosha, the body, on the outside, and the monomaya kosha on the inside, your mind and your emotions and your desire for sensory stimulation, right? So as you do yoga, you purify the physical body, you move prana into the density of the body, and you activate the nadi system in the pranamaya kosha. That allows the awareness to become more less dense in the monomaya kosha. So in the mind, you have the ability to activate at a subtle level the chakra system, but even more importantly than that, because that happens naturally, what happens is that you begin to become more self-aware of what's real and what's not real. the truth from the non-truth. This is the whole goal of Ayurveda, is to purify the body with yoga, breathing, and meditation, and Vata, Pitta, Kapha, bring the body back into balance. Use the prana to drive prana into the physical body and awareness into the mind. When the mind begins to wake up and become more self-aware, it can become aware of the emotional blocks that exist at that great barrier protective sheath that we have that walls us off from our bliss, who we truly are, and locks us into a world of needing, getting our satisfaction from the outside world. And so becoming more self-aware at that level gives us the ability to see with awareness more clearly patterns of behavior. You go home for the holidays, during Christmas time, and you start acting like a 4-year-old again because your parents or your family members trigger you. These are old emotional patterns locked away. We call it mental amma, locked away in your fat and muscle cells that are pre-recorded stress responses that we do again and again and again. And we find ourselves in life doing the same dumb thing again and again and again. And the whole point of Ayurveda is to become aware of that, become conscious of that, and then take Ayurvedic transformational action, karmic releasing action, to free yourselves from those old patterns. This is the game of life. This is the whole point of it. And these karmic opportunities, like fruit ripening on a tree, ripen in a sweet sequence where you begin to be aware of how you're reacting to a family member, or being mean to this person, or being, not being unwilling to move through a fear, being kind of locked or stuck in an old repetitive pattern of behavior. And then you begin to take action to free yourselves and off you go into the world of being free. It's kind of a beautiful process. This is the whole point of yoga and breathing and meditation, is to bring self-awareness in through and less density into the physical body, move the prana into the body and to the mind, wake up the mind so we become conscious enough to see the difference between what's real and what's not real, and then take action to free ourselves by actually taking action based on the truth of us, the Ayurveda of us. Ayu being life, Veda meaning truth. It's letting the truth of your life out. Pretty cool, really. Amazing journey. It's an amazing process. Please check out the article. I cite a lot of the science and the Vedic literature behind this article about yoga, breathing, and meditation, and the relationship to the koshas. Thanks for listening. I'm Dr. John Douillard.